I have a knack for figuring out literally everything, so this is the story on how my now husband tricked me into planning my own engagement. My parents live in Oregon, I live in Texas, and so every time I'm with them, we like to plan the next time we're gonna see each other so we don't get sad when we leave. So, Christmas of 2022, we did exactly that. My parents were like, on the calendar, looks like beginning of February is open, is it free for you? I was like, yeah, that's perfect, you should totally come. They booked the flights for beginning of February. They're like, you should plan some fun stuff, figure it out, we don't really know Austin. I'm like, okay, perfect, I got it. A few weeks later, super normal, my sister and I constantly search like Google flights and surf for cheap flights to LA or to Austin because we like to visit each other. And so she was like, oh my gosh, I found this super cheap flight on this weekend in February. And I was like, no way, that's when mom and dad are gonna come. That's literally perfect, you have to come. She was like, wait, seriously? Booked, like I'm there. Apparently my then boyfriend, now husband, had gone to my parents and was like, this is the weekend I wanna do it. You have to make it seem like it's her choice for you guys to come. And then they were like, how do we get her sister to turn off Find My Friends? Figured out they couldn't without me getting like weird. And so they were like, she just needs to like somehow have found a flight that weekend. So then I'm in Austin. My roommate and best friend was like, oh, what's your plans this next few months, whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you, my parents are coming beginning of February. And my boyfriend had gone to my roommate and said, hey, if you say to Alexandra, our parents have never met, she's gonna be like, we should totally do dinner. And that's how we'll get her up to that high rise, because her parents live in a high rise in downtown Austin, and that's where the proposal is happening. So she was like, okay, I can do that. So she goes to me and she's like, oh my gosh, I just realized our parents have never met. And I was like, oh, we have to do dinner. We have to all hang out. I want my parents to meet your parents. And so she's like, okay, can you plan it? I'm really busy, whatever. I'm like, yeah, of course. So I plan dinner at, my mom's like, choose a nice restaurant, like let's get dressed up. I'm like, totally. I plan a dinner at a really nice restaurant, so we all have to get dressed up. We're in a group chat, her parents, my parents, were like, okay, dinner this time. And then, I don't know how they knew I do this, I was like, oh, should we invite Connor? Because my parents love Connor, her parents know Connor, like really well, so it was just like, it made sense to invite him. Everyone's like, yeah, sure, of course, see if he's free. So I'm like, hey Connor, are you free this day? And he's like, yeah, sure, that would be fun. So apparently they all concocted a plan where my roommate was gonna say to me, she's going to get her nails done, and they somehow knew that I would be like, wait, I wanna go get my nails done. So alas, that's exactly how it happened. I'm like sitting on the couch in my apartment, probably watching Below Deck or something, and my roommate was like, hey, I'm gonna go get my nails done, I'll be back. I was like, wait, I need to get my nails done. She was like, really? All right, come along. She was so chill, so chill. She's so good at keeping a secret. She thinks she's not, but she was. I got distracted, I need to keep getting ready. Okay, anyways, so my nails are done. The weekend arrives, everyone's in town, my parents, my sister. I'm so excited to get ready for dinner. I'm like telling everyone what time to be where, thinking I'm running the plans. Then my roommate's parents were like, hey, let's have drinks at our apartment first. So we're all like, okay, great, let's go to the high rise before dinner. So we're on our way there. Connor picks us up, my sister and I. Oh my gosh, I forgot a detail. My sister, when I was getting ready, I put on a dress that apparently I wasn't supposed to wear. My mom ordered me a dress for my cousin's rehearsal dinner, and my sister was like, oh, you should just wear that. And I'm like, no, that's for her rehearsal dinner. And she's like, no, just wear it, it's fine. Call mom. So I call my mom and I'm like, should I wear it? She's like, yes, just wear it, we'll find you a new one. Okay, done. I guess I'll wear it. But what happened was I put on a different dress first, and my sister's like, I don't really like that on you. Very sister moment. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like, I guess I'll change. And she has me take off the dress, and she puts it on. And I'm like, bro, you said you don't like the dress, and now you're wearing it? She's like, well, it's fine, you have the other one. I was like, that is so rude. Turns out she just wanted to make sure I didn't put that dress back on. She had a completely different outfit plan, but she was like, she's gonna put the dress back on if I don't put it on. So, genius on her part. Anyways, we're on the way to the high rise. My boyfriend at the time, now husband, had picked me up with my sister, and he had texted my roommate's dad and said, hey, when we're in the car at this specific time, this literal minute, send a text that's like, hey, we're up on the balcony having a drink if you want to join. So what happens? We're in the car, the texts come through, and he's like, hey, could you read that? I'm driving. I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm like, oh, he just asked if we want to come up to the balcony to have a drink when we get there. He's so chill. He goes, I mean, I've been up there, but wait, you haven't been up there. Do you want to go? I was like, yeah, I guess we can go. Gives me the option. I mean, I don't even know what he would do if I had said no. So we get up there, we ride the elevator up to the top. We get up to the balcony. Nobody's up there from her family, but I see roses on the ground. I'm so convinced that I've planned this whole night. There's no way I'm getting engaged, that I walk out and I see roses on the ground, and I turn around and I grab them. I'm like, we gotta go. Someone's getting engaged. He turns to me and he's like, yeah, it's you. I was like, immediately, like, bawling tears, completely shocked. And the rest is history. So if you have an extremely complicated girlfriend that loves to find out things unintentionally or intentionally, this is the way to go. Have her plan it or think she's planning it. I think this used an immense amount of reverse psychology or something, but it was genius. I never figured it out, and it was the best day ever.
This 34-year-old teacher essayed her 5th grade student for years and then had his baby. I feel like I come across so many cases like this nowadays. It's so common, and that makes me want to throw up. 34-year-old Laura Karen lived in New Jersey, where she was a teacher at Middle Township Elementary School, and Laura Karen allegedly essayed her 5th grade student from 2016 to 2020. In 2016, the student was only 11 years old. I honestly couldn't find that much background on Laura, but this is what we do know. She was born and raised in Pennsylvania. She attended a Roman Catholic school in high school and then went on to study at Cabrini University. There she was an athlete. She played basketball, and she was studying to earn a degree as an elementary education major. In December of 2014, Laura got a job working as a 5th grade teacher at Middle Township Elementary School, which is where she met today's victim and his siblings. We don't know the victim's name. Obviously, he was underage at the time, but we're just going to be referring to him as Boy A. Boy A has 2 siblings. Laura actually met his sister first. His sister was one of her first students, and she also coached the sister's basketball team. The year after, Boy A becomes one of her students, and it was around that time that Laura began befriending their parents. Boy A's mom often volunteered at the school, and the more and more that Laura started talking to her, the closer that they got, to the point where Laura began constantly offering to babysit her children, Boy A, his sister, and his brother. And it's unclear exactly how this came to be. That information has not been released, and honestly, I have a lot of questions. But Laura started babysitting the kids. They were coming over often, and then they started sleeping over once and twice a week until 2016, because by 2016, Boy A and his brother were living with Laura full time. The sister has since then spoke out in regards to their living situation as to why her brothers moved in with Laura, and it sounds like she isn't entirely sure either as to why her brothers moved in with Laura, but she says that she was a child, and to her it didn't seem weird because that was all that she knew. She now realizes though that they were being completely manipulated by Laura. So Boy A and his brother are living full-time with Laura. The sister doesn't move in, but she still sleeps over from time to time. And both siblings started noticing odd behavior between Laura and Boy A. It's estimated that around this time Laura was 28 and Boy A was 11 years old. The kids shared a bedroom on the 2nd floor of the house, and the boys would fall asleep in that bedroom, but then the brother would wake up and Boy A would always be in Laura's bed. Then it escalated, and allegedly when Boy A would walk into the bathroom to go and take a shower, Laura would walk in behind him and close and lock the door. His brother often saw both of them walking out of the bathroom together, both only wearing towels. His brother has also said that one night when he was supposed to be sleeping, he saw Laura approach Boy A and essay him underneath blankets. From what we know so far, most of the alleged essay happened inside of that house, and it's been reported that Boy A was essayed by his teacher Laura Karen about twice a week from 2016 to 2020, making that at least 416 SA events. And then Laura gets pregnant, and she's very happy about this pregnancy. She throws herself a baby shower and tells all of her family and friends that the father isn't in the picture. She gives birth to her baby in 2019 when the baby's father, boy A, was only 13 years old. And according to his brother, following the birth of the baby, boy A then moves in full-time in Laura's bedroom, no longer sharing the bedroom on the second floor with his brother. Then at some point, the kid's mother and Laura have a falling out. It's unclear why or what exactly happened, but I think at the end of 2020, the kids moved out of Laura's house. All of this came to light in December of 2024 when boy A's father saw a picture of Laura Karen and her child on social media, and he saw the picture and thought, wait a second, this baby looks just like my son. He sees this picture on social media, immediately notices the big resemblance that the baby has with his son. He knows that Laura is his son's teacher. He obviously knew that his son was living with Laura full time. He connects the dots and immediately realizes that this baby is his son's. So then he makes a social media post about this, stating that he thinks that his son is the father, and allegedly after the father's post, boy A messages his sister and his brother and confesses that he did have a physical relationship with Laura, and he also confesses that he is the father of the baby. He then allegedly asked his sister not to tell anyone because he didn't want Laura to get in trouble. However, that post then makes its way up to the school Middle Township, which is when it lands on the desk of the superintendent. The superintendent immediately places Laura Karen on administrative leave and then calls the police to report this. An investigation begins, and in January of 2025, 34-year-old Laura Karen was arrested and charged with first-degree second-degree endangerment to the welfare of a child. Laura and boy A had remained in contact up until her arrest. After her arrest, the prosecutor stated, quote, "This arrest underscores the unwavering commitment of our office and law enforcement partners to protect the children in our community. Teachers hold a position of great trust, and the allegations in this case represent a deeply troubling breach of that trust," end quote. She is currently being held at the Cape May County Correctional Center awaiting trial. The essay allegedly began when he was 11 years old. He became a father at 13 years old. I don't care what you say. I don't even want to listen to whatever her defense is going to state. That is SA. He was a child. You are a full-grown adult. Case closed.
Get ready with me while I give you guys a story time on how my ex-best friend faked her pregnancy and blamed it on one of our friends in our friend group. So during this time, I was in this little friend group, and low-key, we were like this back then. Like, we were always chit-chatting it up in our group chat. We would always hang out. We would always just like be there for each other, you know, like we were just that friend group. And how I met this friend group is because of my ex-best friend. That's the whole reason why like I was part of this friend group in the first place. And then one random night at 12 a.m. I get a phone call or a FaceTime call from my ex-best friend, and she called me and she was like literally bawling her eyes out. Obviously I'm concerned for her, so I asked her like, what's going on, what happened? And then she was like, I think I messed up. And then I was confused, and I asked her like, what did you mess up on? And she said, I think I fucked up. I think I'm pregnant. Girl, I could you not. I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean you think you're pregnant? We were like 15 at the time. Okay, well, I was 15 and she was 16 at the time, but that doesn't fucking matter. You know, little curious me, I was just asking her like, well, who's the dad? And she kept dodging the question, and I got a little bit like sketched out because like, why aren't you telling me who the dad is? But I asked her again who the dad was, and she went quiet. She still wouldn't tell me, and then she kept changing the subject, and at this point I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? She hung up, and then she called me back like nothing happened, and then that's when she finally told me like, oh, so I don't want to tell you because I don't want it to ruin the whole group. And that's when I was like, bitch, what the fuck? Who did you fuck? Now, in my mind, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what, who, you know, I was just thinking a lot up there. And then she finally told me yet again, and then she was like, okay, so the person or the baby daddy is blank. Okay, well, I don't want to say his name, but we'll call him Paul. And she was like, it's Paul. So a thing about Paul is that he was in the friend group and he had a girlfriend. Bitch, at this point, this shit was not even messy. This shit was fucking nuclear. And I told her straight up just to talk to him because, like, dude, if this gets out, it's fucked. It's all done for. Like, I was assisting this fucking girl to, like, talk to, like, someone or to him about it, you know, like whatever. And she's like, she was basically, she didn't want to, and I was confused on why, but I kind of just like, you know what, I don't know. And she was also begging me not to tell anyone, and I was like, yeah, I won't tell, don't worry, like, your shit's safe with me. Then a few days later, she acted like nothing really happened, and she was acting too normal, you know? And I'm just standing there in the fucking corner, and I'm just like, damn, I know this bitch's secret. And of course, Paul was there too, so I'm like looking at my best friend, and I'm like looking at Paul, and I'm looking back at my best friend, and I'm just like, this is the part where it kind of gets juicy. So basically, there was a day where I was in class, I was just doing classwork, and I get a text from my best friend, and then she was like, hey, can you like meet me in the bathroom? And I said, yeah, sure. So I go and excuse myself, and I tell my teacher like, hey, I'm going to use the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, right? And I see this girl like sitting on the damn dirty ass floor, and she's like, well, I want to say she was bawling her eyes out, but you can definitely tell that she was like having a rough like day, you know? And I'm just like, I just want to be a good friend for her, so I just sat down next to her on the dirty ass fucking floor where I bet every single fucking bitches just like pull down their pants and just piss on the floor. But I sat down next to her, and I started comforting her, and I started telling her like, you know, it's gonna be okay, like what's going on, like is something like really bothering you? And she didn't want to tell me, so I was like, you know what, that's fine, like you don't have to tell me then, like I'm not gonna like, you know, pressure out of it. And while I'm sitting next to this dumb fucking bitch, her phone buzzes, and I low-key kind of just like glanced over. I do that to everyone, I'm sorry, like it's just like a weird habit or like a bad habit, but like I just glance over at people's phone for like a second, and you'll never fucking believe what I saw on this dumb bitch's phone. There was a text message sent to her, and it's like, I'll give you money for a... And I look at the name. It's a bitch named Andrew, and I'm like... When I tell you, this bitch fucking grabbed her phone, looked at me, and then she was like, ugh, girl! I was like, who's that? Who's Andrew? Why is he talking about giving you money for that? And then she's like, oh, it's nothing. I'm like... I saw it with my two eyes. I know I might be blind, I'm wearing glasses, but I saw it with my own eyes. So I'm literally sitting there next to her, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, you're messing with a guy named Andrew, so why are you saying that it's Paul's kid? And then I'm over here like, oh, I think I fucked the liner up. But you know what? Moving on. Well, I'm like basically like asking her a whole bunch of questions on who the fuck that was. Like, who's Andrew? Because like, you said that this is Paul's kid, so why the fuck is Andrew talking about that, you know? And then that's when she finally admitted that like, it wasn't Paul's kid. Oh, she is actually indeed pregnant, but it's not Paul's, it's Andrew's. But she's over here saying that it's Paul's when it's really Andrew's. I don't know how the fucking to do the I part, so I did my best. Anyways, I confronted her about it, and I was like, if it was really Andrew's baby, so then why are you dragging Paul into this? And I could you fucking not. She looked me dead in the eyes. She was like, well, I thought that if people knew it was him, it wouldn't be that bad. Never in my life have I ever wanted to just like... So basically, this bitch was willing to ruin Paul's fucking relationship, his reputation, and basically risk of breaking up the friend group, all because she wanted to like protect herself. I think the most craziest part about this whole thing was the fact that she acted like it was no big deal, like it was just like, oh, it was just like a little jokey joke. Bitch, be so fucking for real. Like, imagine sacrificing your best friend just to keep your dumb little fucking secret is absolutely wild to me.
I have such a crazy story time, but if I come in here and tell it, you lot aren't gonna believe me. Fuck it. Basically, I was at work and my computer wasn't working. So then I called up the tech agency that works with my company, and basically the guy answered the phone and he was helping me fix it, and like we was just bantering. He was so funny on the phone, I can't lie. Like, But it was a good conversation. But then at the same time, like, I'm in the office, so like I need to chill, and I had to like condense my reactions because my manager and stuff like that are sitting right behind me, and they're gonna be like, are you on the phone to IT support? Because why the fuck are you laughing so hard? Like, how is you cool? So then like he's just there, he's just on the phone making me laugh and stuff like that, and then like he's saying like little things like, oh, I'm so sorry it's taking so long. And then I was like to him that, no, I don't mind, like, you're giving me it's an excuse for an extended break. And then he was like, oh, don't worry, I've got you, it's gonna be a very long break. Guys, you don't understand, it sounds like fucking boring love, but in the off, it's just, it was given at the time, like. And eventually he has people in the back, so he's like, oh, okay, I guess you're not working from home. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not. So then like he's there fixing the computer and stuff like that. And then like my colleagues were sitting next to me, and they were just like, girl, like, if it's given, just let him know. And I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to let him know when there's all these people sitting behind me? Like, I'm not trying to get in trouble. So then like he's on File Explorer, and then you know the little search bar at the top, so then I type my number into that, and he's in my headphones. So then like he's like, oh, what does this mean? And then like I just put ... next to the end of my number, and then he goes on Notepad. He opens up Notepad, and then he types in, I'm confused, I thought you wanted me to text you. And I was like, I do. And then he typed in, oh, don't worry, but like he's typing in like slang. He's like, DW, I got you, but in all caps. And I was just like, is this really happening? Like, this is actually killing me. But then like, because he was controlling my computer, you can see his name at the bottom, like at the bottom right. So it says which tech agent is helping you fix your computer. So then like I was like, wait a second, why don't I just go on LinkedIn and see what he looks like before I set myself up by giving this man my number when I don't know what he looks like. So then I go on LinkedIn, but his name's not coming up. And then like something similar has happened like this before with one of my colleagues. Yeah, she typed in his name, but then like he wasn't really given what we thought he would. And then she was like to me, I'm telling you it's him, I'm telling you it's the same guy, it's the same guy. But then like he didn't come up on LinkedIn, but her one did. The one I'm speaking to right now didn't, his full name didn't come up. And then I was like, I was just gonna check your LinkedIn, like I couldn't find you on there. And he was like that, oh no, I am on LinkedIn, this is it. And then when I typed in the name that he gave me, it was the same profile that my colleague like almost fell in love with. It's so crazy. Like, I don't know if any of this made sense to you guys, but I hope it was entertaining. But what a cute meetup that would have been though. Like, if that was the story of How I Met Your Father, like that would have been so cute. But no, sorry, I checked the LinkedIn and it's a no. We're gonna pass. Sorry, yeah, it's a no. I mean, that as well as the fact that you tried to run the same game on me and my colleague, like, how is you cool? No. It's so annoying though, because the nigga had game. Like, the way he was talking, like, I was losing composure in the office. Like, what the
My doctor told my husband, 30 male, and I, 31 female, that our baby has many birth defects. I want to abort, but he does not. This was a planned baby, and I'm absolutely devastated. Me and my husband met in college and have been married for 6 years now. We have one son who is now 4 years old. I know some people are going to wonder, but yes, we did discuss our moral and political views before even getting engaged, and we're both pro-choice. When we were 21 and 20, we made a stupid mistake that ended in a pregnancy. We are both flat broke and not at all ready for kids. I decided to terminate, and he fully agreed with me and supported me. He loves our son so much and is an amazing father. He confided in me that he loved the idea of having a daughter as well. Luckily, we're in a good financial place, so I agreed and we started trying for baby number 2. We conceived fairly quickly and were overjoyed. We also soon discovered that we're having a girl. My husband was so excited. As soon as he was told that, he went all out and started to plan her nursery. He asked our son to help him pick which shade of pink he wanted, which crib to get, and what the theme should be. It was all so adorable. I don't want to reveal any personal medical history, so forgive me for being vague with the descriptions. At our last doctor's visit a few days ago, we were given the news that our daughter has severe birth defects. They think that she could possibly survive the birth, but any life that she gets to experience will be painful for her. There have been medical cases of babies with the same conditions to survive from early childhood to even the teenage years, rarely. These poor children suffer with so much pain and are uncomfortable their entire lives. They are very low functioning and need around-the-clock care, as well as several uncomfortable surgeries to try and give them a better quality of life. We were both heartbroken and cried for hours together in the car. Then we drove home in silence. Neither of us said anything until my husband began to quietly mumble his thoughts. He was going on and on about how we needed to schedule another doctor's appointment so we know what medical equipment we need to buy for her. We should renovate the nursery again so we could care for her more easily. He said that he'd definitely have to talk to his boss so he can take a longer paternal leave. He wants to be by her side in the NICU until we can take her home. He talked about how we'd have to ask his mom to babysit our son more often while she's a newborn. He even said that maybe we could sell one of our cars, move to a smaller house, and take our son out of private school so we'd have more money to pay for our daughter's care. I was silent until he asked me what I thought. I was blunt and said that I think we should terminate the pregnancy. Now I feel bad for saying it that way, but I was still frazzled from the news. This made him very upset. He began to cry and ask why I don't want our daughter, even with disabilities. I mentioned our previous abortion. He said it was different because it was unplanned and we had no way to take care of the child. Now we're in a pretty good place financially, so theoretically we could shoulder the cost of our daughter. I have a bit of personal history with this type of situation. My best friend in high school was at my house all the time because her parents were way too busy with her severely autistic older brother. They did love her, but she was pushed to the side her entire childhood. I told him the story. He said that we'd do better by our son and daughter. My best friend's parents were stupid for having a second kid after they already had a disabled one. He then seemed hopeful for a minute and asked if I was just afraid. He promised that he'd be by my side the whole time and we could do this together. I told him it's not about fear. Our daughter will be in pain constantly if she's born alive. It would be a short and painful life for her. I love this baby so much already. I don't want her to suffer like that. He began to yell that even if she doesn't live long, we could still pour our hearts and souls into making her life as fulfilling as possible. I didn't respond as he stormed inside. It's been a couple of days now and he won't even look me in the eyes. He sits in the nursery for hours. Our son is very confused. I know he's grieving, but I really don't want to go further with his pregnancy. I love him so much. I don't know what to do. After I made my original post, my husband and I rushed to get a second opinion. Nothing changed as it was still our original diagnosis. Once I learned that, I scheduled the termination for as soon as physically possible. I didn't tell my husband at first. He kept on raving about how we could give her as much love in her life as we can. I feel bad for this now, but I snapped and angrily told him I was terminating the pregnancy, that I know how he feels, but I will not allow my daughter to suffer just because he wants to love her. He was very angry with me after I put my foot down. After he realized his pleading wouldn't change my mind, he didn't speak a word to me. I was terrified that he'd go and leave me all alone with the scraps of our family. I tried to explain it to my son, but I think he still doesn't understand. Then, the night before the procedure, he stepped into my room and apologized for everyone and promised to be more supportive of me from now on. I was so happy and relieved I started to sob and he held me all night. My original plan was that my mom would drive me to the hospital. Then, once it's done, a close friend would take me home. Since it was only the night before, he said he couldn't miss a full day of work, but really wanted to drive me home. I agreed to let him and then the procedure was done in the morning. My son is having a long sleepover with my best friend's family. I don't want him to see me like this. The next morning, the termination was done. It went fine with only minor physical pain, but the emotional toll was crushing. After I was done, he didn't show up to get me. I waited for hours and he wouldn't answer any of my calls. I ended up having to call a friend out from work to take me home. When we got there, I just saw one note on the counter saying he can't do this. What the fudge, he left you? A few of our daughter's special toys were removed from her nursery. My entire life has fallen apart in a matter of days. I asked my mom to watch my son for a little while. I still can't contact my husband. Everything feels so pointless.
Should I break up with my boyfriend for saying that I'm not wife material? I've been dating my boyfriend for about a year. Up until recently, I thought things were going well. We had our normal fights, but nothing major. I really believed we were building towards something long term. Then, out of nowhere, he dropped a bomb on me in front of all of his friends. We were hanging out at his place with a few people, just joking around and drinking. One of his friends asked him when he was going to lock me down. Instead of brushing it off or saying something sweet, he goes, "Oh, she's fun, but she's not wife material." Everyone laughed like it was just a joke, but my stomach dropped. I asked him later what he meant, hoping he'd backtrack. Instead, he doubled down. He said, You're not the type that I see myself marrying. You're not super domestic. You're not the nurturing type. You're more of a good time girlfriend. I was floored. I cook for him. I support his career. I've been there through ups and downs. How am I not wife material? I told him that it was hurtful, and he shrugged, saying, marriage is overrated anyway. Let's just enjoy what we have. Now I feel like an idiot. Am I just a placeholder until he finds someone who checks his imaginary boxes? My friends are split. Some say he was being honest. Others say he's stringing me along. I keep asking myself, do I stay because we're happy day to day, or do I walk away now because he's basically telling me that I'm not the one? So I need advice. Do I cut my losses or stay in hope that he changes his mind?